Okay, we're gonna get Roll and Cut Studio set up. This is a program we're gonna use to do decals. So open the program. Yours will probably be found in the Programs folder. It could be down in this menu too. You might have to scroll and find it, but it'll say Cut Studio, Roll and Cut Studio. I'm gonna open mine. It's on my desktop. First thing, we just want to get everything set up. So zoom. This is my screen right now, my roll of vinyl basically. You got to make sure this is the right size. Our vinyl is in 24-inch rolls, and that would be the width of your paper. It needs to be 24. It needs to be 23 actually, because you have half-inch margins. So to set that, you got to do this right away. You go to File, Cutting Setup, and right here, media size. There's all different sizes vinyl, but that's what we have. We have 24-inch vinyl. You can see mine set to 23. The length doesn't really matter because it's on a roll, but yours probably won't be set to this right away. So go to Change and make sure it's in inches. Make sure you change the width to 23. In the vinyls for the decals, we have 24-inch vinyl. In the vinyls for the t-shirts, I think it's 15, so you might have to change this. You can see if I were to change that to 15, I click OK, OK changes my paper right here, which would be my vinyl. So again, cutting setup, make sure this is 24 inches or 23 because you have half-inch tabs on the side. So 23, OK, OK. Also, I like to do this. I like to make my squares on my grid 1-inch squares so it's easy to count and measure how big, especially your lettering and your decals or your logos are going to be. So you go to File, Preferences. Again, make sure this in inches. I like to set my grid. This is for your text. If you want your text default to be like 1 inch big, you can set that. That would be the height, but that's easy to adjust. It's nothing you really have to do here. Colors, you could change your grid color if you wanted to. The grid itself, I would set at 1 by 1. It makes things super easy to measure with a ruler, and don't worry about the curves, but just set the grid to 1 by 1, okay, and then you'll have the same size squares as I do. What you want to do is you want to search for an outline. I'm going to do a hunting fishing outline. You can see I searched for it previously. I just click on that and click on images. You can use any of these decals that are outlines, I guess. So something like this would work great. Something like this would work great. The bigger it is, the better it's going to turn out. So this one is like 1500 by 1500. That one would work great. The first one is 1100 by 1100. I'm going to click on that. And I like how that looks. I like this logo. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to save image as. And I have a folder called Roland on my desktop, but you might not. So you might just want to save it on your desktop. So you go to desktop and you want to call it something that you're going to recognize when you save it there. So I'm going to call it hunting and save it and check my desktop to make sure it's on there. Hunting JPEG right there. Okay, so you open up Roland, and what I want to do is I want to make my logo here, and you have to turn it into a vector, which is basically an outline, and you got to get rid of all that background stuff. So I go to Import. The program is pretty easy to use, and desktop. Here's my hunting JPEG. I open that, and you can see it appears on my screen. And you can zoom in and out with your wheel. So now I have my logo. What I want to do is I want to get an outline. What you do is you go to Object and Image Outline. You can see your alignment right here. You can go anywhere from real shallow or real dark. If you get real dark, you're going to pick up a lot of that background stuff. So I'm going to go to the point just where the background is out of that. And you can experiment with the remove thin lines and the contour lines, but I'm not going to mess with that too much right now. I'm just going to extract this by clicking Extract. And make sure when you click OK, it's what you want. You can see it makes an outline right here of your image. And this is vectorized now. So whatever this outline is, the Roland cutter is actually going to cut those lines out. So I'm going to click back on my image. You can see there's my image. I'm going to delete that because I don't want that anymore. So there's my image. And the problem with this is you get a lot of this kind of stuff where it's not exactly what you wanted. You get a lot of lines that are come to points and things like that. It's not done great. So you have to edit this a lot. Like the deer horns here kind of, look bad. Parts of them are good, parts of them are bad. Just depends upon fish kind of looks funky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit all this. Now this is the part that takes the longest when you edit this, because you want your image to look real good. If you don't edit parts, for example, let's say I don't edit this fishtail right here. That's exactly how it's going to get cut out. So I'm going to edit it by, I'm going to zoom out here real quick, by double clicking on my piece, and you can see it selects all the little lines. And what you want to do is you want to zoom in and start putzing with it. There's a lot of stuff you can do, like you can just select the dot and you can move the dot. Some of the dots are, when you move, the curve will move with it. It's already selected, it's pre-selected. So this is supposed to be a bobber on the end of the fishing pole. I'm going to make this more like a bobber. It kind of looks like a big, like a turnip or something right now. So I'm going to move these out. I'm going to start making that to look like a bobber. Let's say you want to get rid of a point. I don't know what this is on the bottom here. I don't like it. So I right click, delete. Point is right there, but you have to click on the point too. Right click, delete the point. Click, right click, delete the point, and click, right click, delete the point. So you can delete points. I got one more here I want to delete. And now you can see it comes to a point, which is kind of what a bobber does. You can also add points if you want to move like an area here. So there's a point here, but there's not one here. You just click right on there, right click, insert point. It'll put a point right on there for you. So editing is one of the most important things. The white dots adjust the curve, so you can adjust, you have to putz this a little bit. You can adjust your curve to kind of fit how you want. Some of them that are not curved, you can make them curved. Like if I wanted to zoom in on this, I click on it, I right click, make a curved polyline. That would turn that into a curve instead of a point. And it's not real apparent on this one right here, but some of your other ones it will be. So I'm going to mess with this bobber. It looks pretty much like a blob now. Like I said, you're really going to notice this when the vinyl cutter starts cutting. It's going to cut exactly what you have here. So if you got, real crappy lines, it's going to be a real crappy cut. That's basically how it happens. Insides like this, that are pointy like this, a lot of times you don't want them pointy like that. It just looks bad. This one will show you the curved polyline. You click on it, right click, make curved polylines. You see how that rounds it out? And I want to do it here, right click. Oops, you got to click on it first. Right click, make curved polylines. So it's rounding that out now, and the cutter is going to make that it's going to make it look much better. If something like this happens, I did too many. I'm just going to go edit, undo. I don't know what happened there, but that looks better. This one still looks crappy. Click, right click, curved polyline. I want to curve this whole thing around, curved polyline, and then you may have to adjust your white lines a little bit. Well, you play with it a little bit, it's easy to understand. So I'm gonna modify this whole picture right here. And then, the fish gills need major work. And then the next video, I'm going to show you how it looks like modified.